like I've done is, so for example, we can do a deep linking. Let's do a deep match field where I want to, let's see. Oh, it wouldn't make sense for the industry because that's the trigger I'm going to use it off of, but still, I'm gonna, I'm trying to think of a better example. I had one in my head and it's escaping me now, but still, for example, if you only want it to run if it's not empty, you could work that into your trigger as well, using this to be like, okay, run if this is run and I don't already have a value here. For example, like if you don't rerun, only run for the first time. So you can really kind of fine tune and segment your decisions around when you want that to refresh. Yeah. Any questions on that so far? Comments?
If you wanted to go in and edit what the agent has put in, does it allow you to do so?
It does, yes. So I can go here and now I can start typing and it says edited by you, which is nice. And I think that does become part of, let's see, no, it doesn't. Like
it's the inverse. It doesn't. Now that's the one that you would want, right? Wouldn't you want it to rerun for something that you edited?
Yes,
or not.
Exactly. But you could do this where you could add a last modified by field. And so AI shows up as a user, quote unquote. So you could include in your trigger, like in your case, to be like only rerun AI was the last person to touch it. Person, again, in air quotes. But that would be a workaround for that. Kind of a little bit messy, but like I said, I wish they had a global, if on the field so that you could just not have to worry about it ever rewriting itself. But you could also, that way to simulate that is, let's say, I sometimes do this actually pretty often. I'll have a field that's like allow AI editing ? And using Dan's little trick, I'll write like a formula actually, and let's do news last modified by equals AI. And then I forgot to switch it. Go to checkbox. And actually, I would also want to make it an or. And include if it's empty. Mm-hmm. So now everything is checked as editing allowed, except for the one that I edited. And you could change this use case to be whatever you want. To be like, okay, you can put whatever parameters you want in that formula. And then in here, we could put if, I literally just do this and just say if allow editing. Save. What? Oh, I can't because of the circular reference. What? Okay, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. I haven't ever tried it with a last modified by, but you could, I guess, not in the formula here. Could you do it in here? Yeah, so you could do that.
That wouldn't work on Blink, right?
It would still work.
If on the new one,
because it'll be empty.
Oh, wait, yeah, thank you. There's no condition group. Yeah, there's.
There you
Okay.
go.
So once again, automations are the one place in Airtable where you can't have a condition group. I will complain about that anytime it's relevant.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Wild.
So now, does it let you, if you hit run agent, in those blank ones?
Oh yeah,
I guess you can. Now you can, yeah.
you can now.
You can always manually overwrite it, regardless of what your conditions are.
Yeah.
Right. And you can say, but you can't in the way that I was trying to set the global one though. Like, let me do something like that. I'm going to simulate like tracking allowed. I don't know why you would do this for one industry at a time, but like, let's say I only want to research one, or you don't ever want to touch software and IT again. Like, we don't want it to be able to find new news for that industry. I'm going to look up again, similarly to the run option, from the industry whether I've allowed tracking. And now let's just switch this to say, we'll say tracking allowed. Actually, not find. What did I write? Don't track. I can't write.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll put it back. Don't allow. Okay, so these would no longer be allowed. And this should no longer be a circular reference when I put it in here. I can say if allow AI editing. There.
There you go.
So now this, you can't rerun it because that's not checked. So I often will use that as my global to be like, this can never be rerun because this is set as whatever my conditions might be. You know, they might be super intricate. So
I was thinking about that. Are you still going to do the convert of the employee size? Because I was thinking about that use case of company size. We might get into this, but because sometimes it's likely not going to find the accurate employee size, and so you might want to lock it where you change it manually, and then you could have a lock checkbox or something.
Yeah. Data validated or something like that, so you know that it's locked because someone's already checked it and made sure it's accurate.
Here we can say the company's self-reported number on LinkedIn. And I don't have their LinkedIn, but it can find it. That'd be another field I could add to get their LinkedIn in here. That's not the company name. Website. And then, yes, here we could still, if we wanted to add in that, don't tracking, we could. But here, because I already had the options, this was actually kind of easy because I already had set up my single select options, had them all on the list. When I converted it to a field agent, it kept all of those options. If you're creating one from scratch, it's a little cumbersome kind of to add. It's not the easiest thing to find. When I first set one up, I was like, wait a second. When you switch this to single or multiple select, then you got to go into here. And the word options felt weird to me because I thought there were more settings for the AI field. So I was like, what am I looking at for a second?
Yeah, that's poor naming. If you edit fields with the API, you would know that all fields have a parameter called options, and choices is an option under option. So this should have said choices if Airtable were consistent, but of course they're not. Why would they be?
Nah, go back into that real quick. Go into the options. And then if you click on that, the palette, the color. So
that's the thing, like without the...
Oh, gotcha. It's just a button to turn on.
further deviation from the regular select fields. That is a
Oh.
thing you could do for single select fields. It doesn't look like that now, does it?
It does not. It looks like this, color code options.
Airtable. Why? Why must you do this to me? There is a couple other options that aren't relevant to regular select fields, and therefore I accept their deviation. But I know that if you have an agent that outputs a select choice, single or multi, you can provide a description of each choice so AI knows why it should select it. That's not something you could do with regular select choices. It's just the name, the color if it has one, and then the immutable ID.
Yep. Exactly. It's I have found it a little frustrating, like the ability to set up a field agent to be like, okay, go categorize this, but sometimes I don't know what the options are that it would find yet. So sometimes I might set up a long text field output and then tell it to like return to me a separated list, and then I use that to create my options field later. There's all sorts of different things to try in here. But let's see, to get into just some different other options here, we have different output types. We've talked about long text, single select, which we just talked about as well, and multiple select is the same kind of deal. Number, percent currency, those are, those can be really useful if you're doing like the analysis. So if you upload like image of a receipt, for example, and you want to get the total from the receipt, you could have the agent look at the image you've loaded and pull that out, which is really useful for those. Then there's image, which we have played a little bit with on the show. I remember Dan did one where we had it create cartoons. One that I did just see when I was looking ahead of this recording is the find image from web, which I thought would be a cool one to try out here. I do like, you could set all of this up on your own from you did, create a custom agent, but I like that they give you a catalog, which we'll look at in a moment, of some pre-built prompts and ideas to be able to add very quickly to your base. We'll say, to visually represent the given context, find the logo of the company website and this one's required to be able to search the web to find the image from the web, so that has that on. And then let's see how it does with these first 10. Imagine this is a big time saver if you're loading a bunch of data, unless it's unable to download. Airtable itself, unable to download. That's funny.
Does it say, if you expand the other one that you didn't click yet, why it was unable to download?
Yeah, good idea. Let's see. Just says unable.
Okay, well, that tells me nothing.
Yeah, interesting.
For the ones it found, those are all correct, though. Now, of course, then you get into every major company has multiple logos. So which logo?
Right. Yep. I could say, let's actually ask, find the vertical example where possible. A vertical version. Cancel that. I meant to put it. I should put that. This. Find the vertical version of the logo where possible. And then we could rerun it for the ones that worked. And what I mean by vertical is like stacked, where it's like logo, then words underneath it.
see.
Let's see what it does.
Airtable, Stripe, and Zapier, all very big known entities.
Right? This one's animated.
It found a GIF.
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't call that vertical, but sure.
Sure. It did change softwares out with a small one. But there's no words, but that's, yeah. And in Zillow it did. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it somewhat worked. Get better with the prompt, I'm sure. But I think that one's pretty useful. One real life. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I remember having to pay for a API subscription that would basically do that, and it was. And this kind of replaces that entire. There's several companies that did this.
Absolutely, yeah, that's really useful. And this is a real life example of some field agents that I set up when I was doing some research on a trip that we're planning to Japan. Camille and I were just talking about that before the show. And I put in just a bunch of hotel names and asked it to fill in the amenities were that each hotel had, that what the general sentiment was among people that have stayed there, what the negatives were that people have said online, what the average rating was. I found it useful, and it saved me a ton of time. I'll probably use this again, just keep adding hotels to it as we plan trips in the future. But I thought it was really useful as well.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, as far as like catalog, give you some prompt starters.
Once again, something separate from the marketplace and from the universe.